because I still think of you. I still need you here beside me. So can we find peace in company? Love is a war and I'm still unsure. So can we find peace in company? Peace in company. I still want you, you must still want me. Peace in company. Peace in company. I still need you, you must still need me. Sometime you working, not love, not just a friend. Moving out, this was the end. Told you how I felt, but you ain't answering. Years later, I'm coming back, wondering how you felt that day when I went away. Cause you let me cold hearted and in dismay. I guess we were never compatible. I was fucking quintessential millennium. I know that I can make you see, but please don't walk away. Oh, please don't walk away. Oh, please don't walk away from me. But please don't walk away from me. Can we find peace and company? Peace and company. I still want you and you still want me. Peace and company. Peace and company. I still need you and you still need me. Need you and I still want you
Yo, just trying to see here. I don't know if you're connected all the way. Jackie, can you? How's my mic? How's my mic level?
Does it work now?
Yes, sir. Can hear you.
All right, cool.
How my audio? Is my mic okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. Well, glad to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Just I just finished up work. 'Cause I work at Catalog full time, software engineer. I had too much coffee. I'm kind of wired. So yeah.
So we get lots of energy from you.
Yeah. How you doing?
Man, can't complain. It's so I work with Hvdson, and it's a startup. So as I'm sure you know, the job never ends. So you're even when you're done, you're not really done. So it's like if shit pops up, you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. That's how it be.
So I do have another host coming in. Normally there's three of us. Louie's out of town right now, so you got the night off, and then Natalie should be popping in anytime. But as the room fills up here, if everybody can just retweet the room, I would appreciate it. Have it fill up a little bit. Yeah, man. So while we're waiting for just a minute, I'll give it just another minute or two. But while we're waiting, you probably see me tweet about it, but like I first heard about you, or first saw you and heard your music simultaneously in Denver, and it was really cool, man. Like I thought it was a really great show. I was really late to that gathering, and then so I only caught Halik and then you, but Jackie and Joe, who are the founders of Hvdson, like we were all there together, and Joe's been fanning out hard over you, so he was really excited to hear you talk tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, I was first of all, thank you all for pulling up. Yeah, because it was pretty much end of the night. It was a Thursday, I think, so it was still a work night. But yeah, it was, I guess, the first performance I really did as Hvdson. because I didn't really get a chance to do so back in 2019 because of the pandemic stuff. But yeah, it was good.
Cool. Well, we'll dive all the way into it. Natalie, how you feeling?
I'm over here hot as hell. I was enjoying my nice 60 something degree weather last week, and so I'm a little grumpy earlier. I'm in a good mood because I know we have an amazing show ahead of us, but I was feeling some kind of way today. But yeah, other than that, it's been a very productive last 2 weeks, and I had some snacks, so I cannot complain. How are you two?
I'm great. I'm great. No complaints here. I do know this summer has been brutal for you, so I'm pretty sure that for Christmas, what I'm going to get you is one of those fans that you can like spray water out of at the same time.
Now, I would like to, since everybody in Web3, especially the ladies, is putting their Amazon wish list up, I don't know for what. I legit have a very urgent need for a swamp cooler. It might cost a few thou, but I need a swamp cooler. I don't need no little fan. I got all the little fans over here, as you could probably hear.
Oh no, Natalie, you gonna need a whole sugar daddy for that. A whole swamp cooler?
Only 49
Tr-
cents a day. You two could buy me a swamp cooler.
Stupid. All right. Well, let's do a proper intro. That way, when I cut this up a little bit later, everybody can hear it properly. But welcome everybody to another episode of Music Mondays. Natalie, I think this is episode like 377. I don't know.
I
I've lost
lost
track.
track. I can't tell you.
But it's all good. We're out here. Louie's out gallivanting around in New Orleans somewhere, so he won't be joining us tonight. Lord knows what he's up to. But Natalie comes through as she always does, and would like to welcome very special guest Hvdson. Hvdson, let's get into it, man. How you feeling tonight? I know you said you were kind of jacked up, had a little bit too much coffee. How you feeling?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay still? I'm getting kind of rug my
Yeah, you're
some
good.
Wi-Fi issues, but yeah, I'm feeling just wired. I had a little bit too much caffeine, but good for the space.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on. We'll get some real like up tempo stuff here and see if we can get you to freestyle with Natalie.
You've been trying to get me to freestyle for the last
Oh
few weeks,
no.
and it ain't gonna happen. You have a better chance. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. It's too spicy. Um,
Oh, he got rugged.
he did a Natalie, and he got rugged.
There he is. Yeah, we said something about him having a freestyle. He was like, out.
He is like, "This show is over. Adios."
All
Yeah,
right, we're back. Yeah, I got
all good,
rug.
man. Yeah, it happens. I did a space last week with Black Dave, and like literally like in the middle of the space, Twitter just cut out everything. We're like, okay. So it happens. Twitter doing Twitter things. But anyway, man. So I want to get right into your music. That's the whole vibe here on Music Mondays. We want to hear about people making dope music. And I've dove in, man. I was digging through the SoundCloud. So I've got lots of questions, but I want to get through the standard thing first. Have you kind of tell everybody about who you are? I know you've been making music for some time now, and now you have the Hvdson persona where it's it is fully anonymous. Like you've got the mask. It's not something where you're trying to come off as something else. When I was reading what you had written, it's a clean slate. But let me not butcher it. Can you describe it?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much it's my music career started through just kind of messing around, making beats when I was like middle school. When I was like 12 or so, trying to make just like trance music. I remember I wanted to be Tiesto back in the day. Um, yeah, it was, and then I realized after a couple of moments, I was like, oh, I just wanted to look cool. I don't know if I was necessarily connecting with the music, but it was fun. Um, but yeah, the whole persona it's kind of like I started just with the branding, and just going off of that, not really showing my face. And yeah, the name actually came from there's this place called Edmonton, Alberta. It's up in Canada. Um, that had like there's this Canadian company called the Hudson's Bay Company, and there was this one street downtown or this building that had the Hudson's Bay Company was founded in whatever year, and it had like I noticed it had a V in it, so I was like, whoa, that looks super like trap as fuck. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that. And then yeah, I just eventually dropped the Bay part because it was a bit corny. But yeah, it's pretty much I landed on Hudson as because I always wanted to do like a mask type of thing, kind of pseudo anon, um, but I didn't actually get the chance to execute on it until I had the show in this TV show in China came up, and I was putting this mask together with my friend Mark, who helped me design the mask. Like we just pulled an all nighter like the day before I had to leave, so clutch on him for that. Shout out. But yeah, that's where the mask actually came from, and it's just yeah, I kind of just been going with the flow of things, and now I'm almost arrived at this. I guess this kind of persona, this musical persona simulation, because Hudson, I do want to see Hudson as like a robot almost, because like we do play personas online. You know, I feel like we all kind of wear masks uh, in the digital age, so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now.
No, I like it. And on the topic of the mask, and I know I tweeted something at you once, and I was like, so your performance, at least the one I saw, like had mad energy, like you would, jumping around and like really getting after it, like, and I love that. I love the energy in a live performance.
Thank you.
People sitting around for a live performance gets kind of boring to watch. So I did like your performance, but that thing looked hot as hell.
Yeah, it's pretty gross, honestly, because I can't really wash it. Because it has like it's just hot glued together pretty much, and then I have like a base layer that I put on. It's basically like a ski mask, so it looks kind of sus without the mask on. Um, but yeah, it's nasty, gets stuffy, hard to breathe in it, and like I can't really drink water underneath that, so it's just like I'm just going full, energy, just laying it all out.
Jeez, and you don't have a backup one?
No, I don't, which is like,
Oh
yeah,
man,
but
we might have to get you another one.
I'm thinking of like the next iteration. I don't know if I'll go mask off or not, but I'm still trying to like portray the whole uh, simulation kind of robot persona. So that is, yeah, currently under the works. Soon, TM. But yeah,
Nice. So I'm gonna get straight into the music, and there's lots of things that I noticed, but I do want to talk about the album Insecurity, because that's the first thing that that's what I saw you play, and that's what is up on catalog. Um, so that's kind of your Web3. As far as I know, your first foray into Web3 as far as music is concerned. And there was a lot behind really kind of the thought with the album process, with the naming, with each song. Can you talk about that album?
yeah. I mean, pretty much that's when I was going through like a transition in terms of yeah, just like finding what my sound is in terms of because I was doing a lot of just EDM and a lot of yeah, just heavily on the production side. I never really wanted to do vocals on my stuff, but um, I guess yeah, I remember having a conversation with one of my friends, um, and he's telling me about like stuff. I forget which other artist, but he's like, oh yeah, he started doing vocals with his stuff, and then that's when he started to really take off. And yeah, I really wanted to. I guess like I always had like an inkling of wanting to put vocals on my tracks because it- um because yeah, my dad he basically yeah he was a singer and just like kind of taught me how to play guitar and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I just kind of started experimenting with that, and it was I guess a project that I wanted to finally I guess come out of my shell, and just the mask was a good way to kind of, it's interesting. I guess that's where the whole like insecurity play on words came into play. But yeah, it was, just basically adolescent heartbreak, unrequited love type that it took me a long time to get over because I feel like I'm like a sensitive person. Um, but yeah, I just kind of decided to lay it all out there. I'm like, whatever, it felt right. Um, and yeah, a lot of the songs, they just kind of, it was just mostly emotion, just raw emotion, just whatever in the moment, I'd say. Um, and yeah, something just cohesive started to come up as a product of that. So yeah.
No, I really like it, and I've listened through the album multiple times,
Thank you.
and it's curious to me, and I always look at these numbers to kind of see what people gravitate towards, and obviously some of this can have to do with your promotion and whatnot, but I really find it that it looks like most people went towards For Myself and Peace and Company, which I like both of those. But to be honest with you, my favorite tracks off of the album were Still Think of You and Cross My Mind. And um, curious, did you I don't know if you promoted anything as a single on here. Was there one that was like there's no title track as far as I could see.
Yeah, I mean, Peace and Company was the first track I made, like the first kind of um, adventure into making a vocal track or a track with my vocals. So that was pretty much what I considered to be the single. And then For Myself was kind of, um, I guess, decided by market and the listeners. Like that was the one that everyone liked. But yeah, I mean, all of those songs, I pretty much like, that was the first time I was proud of something I'd put out like cohesively under one project. So, um, yeah, I mean, like, I like all of those tracks. I listen to my stuff every now and then too. Because like, yeah, at the end of the day, I was just making music for myself as like a form of therapy. And if other people connect with it, that's just the bonus.
No, yeah, I think you made it, man. So a really good barometer of it. So I have a 6 year old. My daughter's 6. And usually, I play almost all my music in front of her. I do try to be mindful of some of the things that people will say with different vocals and whatnot. But she really loves your album, so that's a good sign.
Oh,
If you
that's
can make
awesome.
us, yeah, I was gonna say if you can make a 6 year old happy with your music, dude, like you're doing all right. So, um, I do like to showcase some of the music here, so I'm gonna play "Still Think of You," and then we'll come back and I've got more questions, and I'll stop hogging. I'll let Natalie hop in too.
Sounds good.
I still think of you. I still think of you.
We got the sound effects on there, man. So I love that track. And I do want to say, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're a one stop shop. Like you do the whole thing. You wrote the songs, full production, mix and master, and everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Or I guess yeah, not pretty much. I did do everything. But yeah, that was pretty yeah, I've been producing music for a long time. That was my full-time thing up until COVID. I was also DJing and doing like um, audio engineering and production work for other people. So yeah, I like to think that my skill set is, yeah, I can pretty much just do whatever I want, which is nice.
Yeah, you don't have to be modest, man. We'll get Natalie going here in a second. You ain't got to be modest. Like you throw it in there, man. Like you did all of it. You do it well. Um, Natalie, I don't know. Was that the first time you ever heard that?
Yeah, I actually read your post the other. I don't know what day it was. Like, no, actually, that was last year. I was like, I read your post yesterday. No, that post is from last year, and I think you recently like resurfaced it. And I think, yeah, so that was the first time I actually heard your music, though, which is funny. Uh, because I hear a lot of like artists in this space like just talking blah blah blah, but it's so impossible for me to like listen to like everything, especially when I listen to like Bobby Brown and like Thalia on repeat every day. So like, but that was the first time I heard you, and it was honestly like I was telling somebody in an interview I was doing this morning that like music is not just me listening to the lyrics or the production or the beat. Like music is like a spiritual journey, and I have a very spiritual connection to like whatever I'm listening to, and it's that was so beautiful. So yeah, long answer. I don't care.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. Um, it just yeah, it's kind of weird because like you spend so much time on this thing and um, it's like at the end of the day, it's just like wiggly sound, wiggly air hitting eardrums. So it's like, oh, what is the value of this? But yeah, appreciate it.
So I'm curious too, man, because like I said, I was digging through your SoundCloud. I found a lot of old stuff. Um, you definitely seem to like samples, which is right up my alley. Like I love when people dig into samples. I know I posted earlier today the Bobby Caldwell one, but not just that. Like this seems to be like actually like a heavy like '90s R&B kind of flavor for you. Is that kind of your vibe? Like, I know you said like you kind of turned like the EDM style into it, or you put a little bit of a dance into it. But talk about that. Like, where does that influence come from?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I guess that's almost yeah, it's part of my genetics because I remember my parents telling me about when I was still kind of in the womb, she would listen to my uncle DJ, and so yeah, he's the one that taught me to DJ um, as well growing up, and yeah, he just was involved in that whole scene. He would be playing a lot of like the early or late '90s, early 2000s hip hop records, hip hop R&B stuff, and I remember vividly like one of my the first songs I heard was like No Diggity. Um, and I guess yeah, just that era has had an influence on me as well. So yeah, appreciate you noticing that.
So Natalie and I always date ourselves in these spaces, but yeah, that's right up my alley right there, man. And so this is funny because this is actually one of my like my favorite kind of go-to question that I always try to sneak into everybody, but it kind of fits well right here. I find that just about everybody as a child at some point with a parent or a caretaker or uncle or whoever cousin had kind of like a go-to album or go-to song that they would listen to. In my case, it was my mom playing tapes in the car. Um, Natalie, I don't know what they did back in Natalie's day. Maybe it was like an old violin or something like that. But I'm surprised she didn't chime in right there. But I'm curious, is there a song that sticks out in your mind or an album that sticks out in your mind where um, you're like, oh yeah, I know that in and out because my parents used to play it. I'll just give you an example. Mine is like the old Mariah Carey song, Someday. I know that song front to back and I hate it, but I haven't heard that song probably in like 20 plus years, but I still know it in and out. And just curious what that would be for you.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of and in terms of like cohesive projects and albums, honestly, like I grew up on a lot of I mean besides the R&B stuff, a lot of just kind of like pop music, like boy bands like Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Spice Girls type stuff. Um yeah, which is pretty funny. Like I was obsessed with that stuff as a kid. And then I guess, but the one most influential album in my life has been Discovery by Daft Punk. Um, and I guess, yeah, that just kind of shows why I have the mask too and how much of an influence they've had on me. I remember hearing, um, I think One More Time for the first time. And I was just like, I didn't know music could sound like that. You know, I always thought it was just human vocals. And then I heard like the auto tune type vocals on it. I'm like, how do you do that? And I was like, I begged my parents to go to like the music store or whatever electronic store. I forget. It was probably Future Shop or like whatever we had in Canada. But yeah, really wanted to get that album, and I just listened to that front to back all the time. But yeah,
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's interesting because everybody's answer is different. But obviously you talked about the influence a little bit too. Curious because what's really funny to me is that sample that you had, the Bobby Caldwell one with "Can't Let Go." I played that not too long ago, just in my house, and my wife says, she goes, "Oh, this is from the Tupac song." I was like, "Yo, you got to be kidding! This is Bobby Caldwell. Like, what are you talking about?" So, I'm interested to know where you would have heard it first. Like, did you know the Bobby Caldwell one? Did you hear the Tupac version of it? Like, what did you hear first?
yeah. I guess going back to um, my uncle being a DJ, he gave me. I remember he gave me just like a hard drive of songs, like because I was starting to get more into DJing. Um, when I was like 12 or so. And then I just kind of, yeah, go through my playlist and I saw that song in there. It was the Bobby Caldwell version. I didn't actually know the Tupac version up until like a couple years after discovering that. So yeah, shout out Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah, no, I'm big fan of that. So, do you collect vinyl?
I mean, I have like a little bit of vinyl of it's whatever this artist I like, but I don't have something too comprehensive. I mean, my uncle, he had like this whole wall filled of vinyl records that just kind of sit at their uh, their basement. So yeah, I looked through that as a kid.
Nice. And then obviously you work on the Web3 side, you've made music on the Web3 side, you have vinyl. So I feel like the value proposition, um, in the event that you were able to hear something that really resonated with you, would make sense. Do you collect
Like collect vinyl or music NFTs or
NFTs? Sorry.
oh yeah. I mean, I got into crypto like 2017 or so, but that was me trying to make money because I was a broke college student slash starving artist. Um, so yeah, I was just kind of doing a lot of degen stuff. But that's what ultimately got me into Ethereum and all that. And I I just kind of like accepted the loss. I'm like, oh, I'm either going zero or like really high. So I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna sell it, take the loss, which is a good thing that I did because I got that, and then yeah, I just got involved with the whole NFT euphoria, which was I guess by happenstance, yeah, the uh, pandemic happened, and by some kind of weird string of events, I got into algorithmic art and like more 3D visual stuff. And I guess that's what this was in 2020. That's what led me into the NFT space, and yeah, it just kind of made sense for me. You know, digital artists have always not been able to find value in their art and like something that's infinitely replicable. Um, it's just hard to capture value. And now we have NFTs.
Yeah, now there's all sorts of upside, and who knows where it'll end up going. But you got a pretty good like even some of the things where even if you were just messing around. So like I did stumble across where you made it looked like you made a beat a day for was that a month straight. Even if you did some of that stuff like that, there's value in that sort of thing where, you can do that sort of thing as additions or one of ones. Um, as far as I know, I didn't find anything that was like 1155s. It looks like you do mostly one of ones. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm still like trying to figure out what I want to do in terms of like I feel like I should be experimenting more, not really thinking about it, just kind of minting my whole back catalog of things. Like I barely even put stuff up on even Web2 platforms because I'm like, oh, I made the music. No, I don't want to. It's just like so much work to promote all this stuff, and I was honestly like super burnt out after uh, putting out Insecurity because I did everything myself. Um, but yeah, I guess this next chapter in my life, just figuring out how to work with a team now, and giving up more control.
I think that's a common theme. I've seen that lately where there's been a lot of people, notably like I've spoke to Black Dave about it, Pat Jr. and some others. Um, and it's just I think a lot of times everybody just kind of gets used to doing everything, but at the same time, especially on the Web3 side, like you doing everything on your own and then rolling it out to DSPs and all that too, like it's a lot of work. Especially the promotion, and it's just like this persistent, consistent thing that you have to do all the time. So, um, what I guess it might be easiest for you to maybe tackle it in pieces. If there's one part that you're like right away, like, nah, I'm cool with that. Like, if I can find the right person that I line up with, like, what would it be? Would it be like promotion? Would it be? I'm almost certain it wouldn't be mixing or mastering with you. But what part would you be like? Okay, cool. Like, let's start to put this person on my team or that person on my team.
Yeah, I guess like immediately, I feel like I'd want to almost get a label to sign just like singles and kind of test run stuff. Um, I think, yeah, the just getting stuff out to the audience, I guess the marketing part is the biggest thing. Like, I don't want to do because it's like kind of weird with trying to share my stuff. Because I'm like, oh, I made it. Here you go listen to it. But I realized, yeah, you need the right channels and distribution to get it to the people that would actually listen to it. Um, and yeah, the visual aspect of it, pretty much, yeah, I'd probably get visual artists to do the cover art and stuff like that. And I'm just like realizing how it's not that much work if I just go for like the MVP version of releases then and just be consistent with it. Ultimately, that's what would be the most beneficial, but sometimes I just like overthink things instead of just putting it out.
Well, I think we all do, but for sure, like, and I can understand that. And that's that thing. Jonathan Mann, right?
Yeah, song a day, man.
Yeah, exactly. So we had him on here like a few months back, and obviously, like the guy just is like insane with the amount of work that he puts out.
Yeah,
But one of the things that he said, and I think it rings true just across every field, is he was like, I don't know what's gonna hit. Like he's like I've made a lot of music and I have no idea. He's like, so the one track that he made, that Baby Yoda one that really blew up,
hmm
which is Natalie's favorite, by the way. Like I'm
It is. I
pretty
confirm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Natalie like plays that and like
I love
dances
that
in the
song.
shower to Baby Yoda.
Not in the shower, but definitely after.
But it's funny because he gave percentages. He was like 70% of what I do, I feel like is average. And I might get these other two wrong, but I think he said like 15% of what he does is bad, and then 15% of what he does is good. But he never knows where it's going to fall on the spectrum in terms of who likes what.
Yeah.
So I think there's just something to be said there for, you know, you know what you bring to the table, and obviously like you do everything. So I think you just getting it out there and letting it be heard is probably the most important thing, right?
Yeah. I've been just like, trying to come to terms with not overwhelming myself and just doing things uh, bit by bit, which is actually something I've learned recently. Shout out to Reef. He's my good friend, manager at Catalog. Yeah, just like been working with him. Um, yeah, it's been a good learning experience of how to like do things bite-sized pieces. And as I work at Catalog, I'm just like thinking of things of how to apply that to music and using that framework of knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. And that's got to help too, because I'm sure you, like, I know you're on the dev side, right? So like maybe you don't see all of the artist rollouts, but I'm sure there's got to be some, for lack of a better phrase, but some osmosis, right? Like that you see, that
Hmm.
you receive, and you kind of see what works and what doesn't, type of thing, right?
Yeah, I think it's funny because like I see a lot of the parallels of creating product and writing software and applying that to um, almost music, and which is what I'd like to explore that realm of or that intersection of where things could go from there if I do apply more of like the software engineering aspects onto just a musician or just like that whole space.
What do you mean? So like you're talking like AI type stuff?
Yeah, I like Hudson. I see myself at like a fork in the road. I'm actually in LA right now. Um, I've been living in Vancouver for my whole life. Um, but recently, or I guess a month ago, I came to LA for a week to perform at FWB Fest, and then I had just like a series of meetups and hanging out with music homies that led to like, honestly, I felt the most productive in music in that one week in the past 3 years I was in Vancouver. So I just had to take the chance to come out here. Um, and yeah, by chance, I was able to stay at my um, homie's place, Mike Gow. I hit him up, and now, yeah, I'm just here right now. Um, but I'm exploring the. I know I want to go towards more of a, I guess, the virtual artist kind of side, and exploring what it means to create an infinitely scalable artist. Because I mean, I know that idea might even be controversial because it's like, oh, art, the reason you listen to an artist is because they're unique and it doesn't feel robotic. But I feel like there's a very interesting design space there in terms of like and yeah, linking that to what Catalog's doing with curation. I feel like we eventually will all just become creators and just leveraging AI and all these tools to create things. I mean, you see the whole Dolly stuff happening, and yeah, AI generated art, and we all already have kind of something for music with OpenAI's jukebox as well, which has been crazy. But yeah, I'm just like, and the Holly Plus stuff too, right? There's like a very interesting lane that's appearing, and I feel like it's almost obvious that that's what's going to happen in the near future.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. And we didn't even really touch on this, but like we're seeing more and more performances, in the metaverse too. So
Yeah,
somebody can do it from a studio or from their home or from their garage or from the bedroom type of thing, and still
yeah,
still perform and bring that to people, which You know, to be completely honest with you, I'd be surprised if IRL type of like music events go away. But what I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised about is if those all of a sudden all pop up. Like, you know, you got your favorite person playing in LA or New York or London or wherever it is. And now all of a sudden, you know, if I'm holding their NFT, I can go watch that live in the metaverse type thing. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that's coming.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like we have this weird almost responsibility to create some sort of ethical um, standard. Like, you know, we see the FN Mecca controversy, um, and a lot of what major labels are trying to like get into the space and just like, you know, the whatever Bored Ape NFT music group. Um, I just feel like that's the direction that, oh, we're just recreating existing power structures, but in NFT form, and that's like a feeling I makes me very pessimistic about. So I'm just, yeah, trying to figure out how to, I guess, what base layer kind of will be composable to essentially be more of a reference point to kind of keep everything cohesive rather than some like pessimistic lane that I've just, I guess, been jaded for working in this industry for a while.
Yeah,
I think.
yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jared. Shut up, Jared. Um, I think I think more so than standards because somebody invited me. Get out of my life, please. You and Kane. I think more than quote unquote standards. Somebody invited me to like this workshop for next week about like metaverse standards. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know if you guys hang out here or whatever. And it kind of made me like mad sketch. And I just want like people that are working on standards, people like you that are actually like invested in the space and like participating and engaged here to be the one to like to create those standards. But I think more so what I'm interested in is kind of reestablishing and putting some rebar in the cement around like social consensus. Social consensus. That is a horrible English word, by the way. So we can actually like put our foot down when we see things that are not in alignment with the space, or to have these conversations around FN Mecca, or last week, some folks in a DAO that I participate in were having this conversation about a unnamed individual, and I'm just like, why does all of our things have to revolve around these same people? Like, I really would love for us to like explore like Latam and what's happening across like the African continent, and also with all these other like artists that are in the space. And so I was super like disturbed by it, and so I think more so than anything, like I would love to see more social consensus and get back to that, because that like when I first came into the space like years ago, like that's what it was. Like if you were not like, if you were disrespecting like the neighborhood, like it was a problem. And so we've gotten so far from that, and people like misaligning with the culture that crypto is, and it's actually quite disturbing to me. And I feel like a grandma saying get off my lawn. But like I and again, like AI has been around a long time. Like in Japan and Korea, there were like a whole like slate of like years where they're pushing out like AI band after like Vocaloid bands and all these things like by the dozens. And so like I'm pretty like used to kind of seeing these things exist. However, in Web3, I believe we can do more to build community around like those beings. There's also like the virtual being summit and that whole like community as well, which you might be interested in. They're very interesting to say the least. And so like what does it actually mean to build community around like these beings? What does it mean to kind of interact with these things? But also more importantly, to, as I always talk about, and like you mentioned like a little bit earlier, giving ourselves space to like just experiment and build the things and create the things and work in tandem with the devs and the creatives, because there's I feel like there's like this weird rift happening at the moment, and I really want artists to just like experiment and enjoy the moment, and but also document like what we're doing at the moment. So I love the things that you're talking about, and I look forward to seeing like what that actually looks like as looks. I feel like my English is weird. I've been talking like all kinds of languages today. What that looked like moving forward over the next like few years, and what this space can be. And I think these virtual beings, whether you're AI or like humanoids or a hybrid of all of the above, or even like creating new beings, I think we need to just experiment and like hold space for that, and not always like producing NFTs or the things for like to consume or to like look at. How are we pushing the space forward? And if we're going to create standards, it has to be people like yourselves and other folks that are indebted to this space. So that's my dissertation for today.
You got to get out of the way when you hear the gunshots, just FYI. No, I agree with you. And Hudson, you had mentioned that you were concerned that and you see a lot of the kind of the same things just being recreated again, and I think a lot of people do. And I think if you, especially if you've been hanging out here for a while now, like, you're like, man, why are we moving in that direction? Why are we moving in that direction? And really the why in most cases is because of money. So I do understand that, but it can definitely be disheartening when you see people bring together three Bored Apes and get an Eminem's deal, and they're talking about how great this music is and blah blah blah. So um, kind of co-sign on everything you guys are saying there. We do have about 15 minutes left. And just because I really, really, really love this sample, and I know I talked about it earlier, I'm going to play a little bit of this Bobby Caldwell "Can't Let Go" sample that you put together, and then we'll come back for our final round of questions.
You want
All right. That cheering is actually Natalie, just so you know. We've got the licensing for all that. So but I love that Bobby Caldwell sample, and like, honest to God, man, like, I know all, like, I don't know what it is. I always remember the lyrics to songs, but like, I sing along to like those songs, and my wife is like, how do you know these words? And for whatever reason, like, words just, I remember lyrics, I remember song lyrics. So really, really enjoyed that one. The fluctuation of like the low key, the heavy bass, the dance side of it. Natalie, you were jamming out, right?
Hell yeah. Also, it's funny that probably the majority of Black people didn't realize Bobby Caldwell was white till like last year, probably. But yeah, I love that song. Shout out to Blue Eyed Soul.
Also, Natalie, so on his you know what, and Hudson, I want to ask you about this too. So like I know you did 30 beats a day, or 30 beats a day, a beat a day for 30
Yeah, you gotta
days.
put him in a sweatshop.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're dead after that one, bro. I want to change you to the wall on that. But a beat a day for 30 days. Talk about that, and like, what did you learn? Like, did you enjoy that? Like, would you do it again?
Yeah, I guess that was just like sparked out of uh, at that time I thought that, oh, I'll just like copy what other people are doing and that's what'll blow up. Because I remember listening to Taku's, I think it was 30 Days for Dilla or one of those ones, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this the same thing. It's gonna blow up or whatever. Um, but yeah, for the most part, it just was more of reassurance for myself, showing that I could do that, and it was a good overall exercise. Um, of seeing if if I commit to something and be consistent, I can, and not overthink things, just making music because I have a deadline, which is good. We all need deadlines and restrictions in order to actually put stuff out. Um, but it's funny that Bobby Caldwell, or yeah, Can't Let Go, that track was the first time I started making something that wasn't like four on the floor, and that was my transition into like from EDM stuff into something that was a bit more um, soulful or a bit more emotional for me. And yeah, through that track, was, I guess, like during the early SoundCloud days, like I was hit up by this one collective called Fet at the time, and yeah, they were like, I remember we were all kids, we were just making beats on SoundCloud. We got connected, and there were a bunch of cool people that came out of the collective that I met at the beginning. Uh, I'm just trying to remember who there was, but yeah, everyone's kind of off doing their thing now. And one of the members is actually an engineer at Selection, doing the Web3 stuff, and we just kind of like full circle came back to that recently because over at Catalog we were talking with the Selection guys, and yeah, I saw that his name's Charlie was over doing stuff, and then yeah, we just reconnected. So it's kind of cool seeing things come full circle just off of music.
When you say Fed, like party, like
Yeah, party. I don't think they weren't French over there at the collective, but I guess they just thought it sounded cool.
no. So I kind of noticed like a Caribbean word, like type of thing. So like and so the reason why I asked is like, have you ever done like anything like Caribbean, whether like reggae or soca or anything of that nature? I know that's a completely different type of genre, but
Yeah, I mean, no, not really, but I tried doing some just like dancehall beats back a couple of years ago, trying to, make demos for and trying to get like A&Rs to push it out and getting whatever pop song type beats. But that's like the closest I probably came towards that.
we get Natalie going with some dance hall for sure, for sure. Um, I know how this question will sound, but of the of the 30 beats that you made for your month long challenge, which one's your favorite?
Hmm. I'm just I'm trying to remember what I made. Um,
And Natalie, to give you some context here, he's got a Key Sweat sample in here. There's a Genuine sample in here. Like you'd be getting down.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably
Keith
around.
Sweat been whining since like 1983, and I can tell you for what. I can't even hate on you.
Yeah, I think around probably I want to say actually the Justin Timberlake track, um, the flip. It's called Can't Be. I forget what it's sampled though. Um, but yeah, I just had like a homie. He was practicing his like DJing, his scratching skills, and then he was playing like that track, and I'm like, oh, I'll flip this today, and yeah, it just ended up being really fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Um, so we'll pretty much wind it down here. So we always have a segment here, and again, one third of our party's missing, so it'll be not nearly as long. But what we like to do here at the end is we like to go in, give shout outs to whoever you want to give a shout out to, tell everybody where to find you, and if you have any parting words or tell everybody to look out for something, plug away.
Plug. Shout out to Reef, catalog, friend, manager, amazing, love you, my guy. Shout out the whole catalog team. Shout out Mike Gao. I'm staying at his place in LA. Shout out FWB. That's pretty much how I got into catalog too. But yeah, check out my Genesis project over in catalog insecurity. And yeah, watch out for I'm creating or writing up my thoughts with the whole decentralization of artistry as a mirror post. So I'm just like, I got to get to it, make a deadline, just do it. And also, yeah, putting out more music. So yeah, watch out for that. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Are you Hvdson official everywhere? Hvdson with a V?
Yeah, Hvdson with a V official on Web2 platforms, and I've reclaimed it on Web3 platforms as just Hvdson. So yeah.
And then selfishly, the last thing I'm going to ask before we get into our thing, um, I had posted, I think a week ago, a snippet of your video that you made. Are there any plans to put that on glass? I actually get to talk to Dio tomorrow, and like I can like put the plug in right there. I need that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like, that was just the first thing that came to mind of where to put it. I still need to figure out where to drop it. Maybe even huddling, you know? But yeah, wherever,
Hey,
yeah. I gotta figure out the details since I'm just like lazy. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
yeah, man, I'm with it. I'm with it. And if there's anything we can help you with, we do stuff, kind of like an easy way to put social content on chain, but man, even longer form stuff, all with it. There's Dutchy. I know he puts a ton of stuff out on catalog.
Yeah, Dutchy.
Yeah, so
Just
he's
some
put
good stuff. Yeah.
he's put long form content on Huddle In too. So we're here for it, man. We're here for it. So um, I'll give my shout outs real quick. That way Natalie's got as much time as she needs because she's long winded.
Go away. Afuera, as my mother would say.
But shout out Natalie for showing up like she always does. Shout out for Louie for taking a Monday off, slacker. Shout out Hvdson, man. Really, really appreciate you coming through. Like diving into the story. I'll definitely be watching. Shout out everybody that came through tonight. I see Reef. We got Jackie and Joe down there. Steph. I saw Christina in her earlier. Anybody else that come through, really, really appreciate it. All the support is always welcome. And I'll cut this up. We'll throw it on wherever you listen to podcasts and promote it. So that way, we like to help get the word out too. So any way that we can help, like I said, we're down for it. Natalie, it's all yours.
Shout out to Amazon for delivering my new fan. Now I got 12. No, I'm not kidding. Shout out to you, Hvdson, for joining us today. It has been super incredible. Every Monday, like I'm never like surprised at the amount of like talent and folks that we bring here, and like whether it's like one person in the audience or like 500, it's always a vibe. And so super appreciative of you, and I always love a good story, and so I'm gonna be on that ass and loving to learn more about you and listen to more music and stuff. And so maybe one or two more shout out to Jamie Cornelia. I was pretty grumpy all day today for no damn reason other than it was hot and I got on got off on the wrong side of the bed. I think that's the English idiom. And Jamie had recorded some funny thing for like laughs. And it's the simple things in life that bring me joy. And Jamie is hands down one of the top top two funny people in this space. And they made my day. And so, and then lastly, shout out to Kaz Vegas, always checking on me. The homie. We have been kind of riding together for quite a few years in this space, and so and we're still here after all the trials and tribulations. So shout out to Kaz. And I think that's it, other than Metaverse Music Festival coming up November 17th and the 18th. And so we have a call out for performers, although you'll hit me up on the private end because that's how we have it this year, and also communities to come participate. You can host workshops or host talks or anything. It's a decentralized community driven festival, and this is our second year. Don't care what you heard, we were definitely the first, and definitely bring people across the ecosystem. And then not a shout out but a condemnation, fuck Near and the whole core team. Y'all gonna get the smoke on Wednesday, just saying. So they have been funding creative DAOs over there for quite a few years, and people get real spicy and want to post like shit in the middle of a thread of women trying to hold folks accountable, and I feel some kind of way about it. So all the whole moderators at Creative DAO got that smoke this morning, and the core gonna get that smoke on Wednesday. So we gotta hold folks accountable and hold them to the T. And I will not tolerate misogyny or people trying to extract funding when we've been putting in work and onboarding people in droves to the Near protocol for freaking years. And so y'all gonna get the smoke on Wednesday. This is just a warning shot. That is it. Thank you. I will leave on a high note and shout out to Steph. Just a beautiful human. Please follow her. That is it. And Black Shade, I love you.
Like I said, you got to duck when you hear those gunshots, bro. And do want to make a special announcement too for anybody that missed it earlier. Natalie will be posting her Amazon wish list in just a little bit. She's looking for a full-time sugar daddy. Applications are in the DMs. Let her know.
Get out of here. I don't want no Web3 sugar daddy. Some of y'all scare me. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not gonna wake up to you wearing loafers and tight shorts. Not happening. Some of y'all crypto bros, y'all need a stylist, not a sugar baby.
There's nothing wrong with hoochie daddy shorts. Get out of here. Hvdson, thank you again, man. We really appreciate you. Enjoy the music. Keep doing your thing. Put it out there. If there's ever anything we can do to help, happy to do it, whether it's on Music Mondays, Huddle In, myself, Natalie, happy to do it, man. Appreciate you. And we'll see y'all around.
Yeah,
Good
thank you.
night.